My name is Ezra Kimodo. I am a web developer with Afrostech International. Today, I would like to take you to the basics of creating a website. It is part of the series of web development, and we'll be tackling a number of issues in different subjects when it comes to web programming. And today we'll look at how we can create a simple basic web page, and we see how we can use the different elements, or what we're going to find out as tags, and different components that actually make up a website. First of all, let's start by understanding what is a website. A website is a document. A website is a collection of a number of pages that form a full document, and it's stored online on what we call a web server. And this document, you can actually access it using what we call an internet address. This internet address is what we refer as a uniform resource locator, or URL. This URL is made up of different items, and these different items, they actually form what we call that full address. In our case here, our uniform resource locator, we're going to look at the Google, the normal Google that everybody can access, and we see what that address is made up. In an address, we have what we call a protocol. We have a subdomain, the domain itself, and the suffix. Now this URL, it's a name that actually relates to a particular organization or a particular business, and it can be used to look for that particular business online. This name, it's tied to an IP address. This IP address defines the location of a web server. It is an address where it can, around the world actually, it's a public address that around the world, wherever, irrespective wherever you are, you can actually use that address to actually reach that particular location where you have your document. Let's get to understand these different components that form a URL. A URL has what we call a protocol. In our domain, you have seen that we have the protocol HTTP. This HTTP defines the port that is used to access a website. You can have different ports, and these different ports depend on the kind of the document, the way the document has been set there. In our document here, we have HTTP, which actually accesses port 80, and we have HTTPS, which accesses 443. The difference between HTTP and HTTPS is that HTTPS has another extra layer of security. This security is used to protect the person who's accessing the site, and also the contents there. The certificate itself is used to it goes through what we call a common authenticator that actually verifies that the contents of that particular site, or the person holding that document, it's a valid person over the internet. We have a subdomain. A subdomain defines the location of the site. For example, we have www. www means World Wide Web. This gives identifies that the site itself, it's accessible through the internet. We have SFTP, we have FTP itself, and we have other subdomains that are out there that can be used to access different documents in different areas. We have the domain name. As you have said, that a domain name usually shows the organization that you're accessing. For example, like when you type google.com, automatically it tells you that this document is hosted by Google. If let's say you want to access something hosted by the government of Kenya, like eCitizen, you just write, when you type www.eCitizen, it identifies that the document there that is related to the eCitizen organization. If it's a parastatal, like Ministry of Education, you find that it's written like MOE, Ministry of Health, MOH. You have different different domains. If let's say we want to access let's say e-commerce site like Jumia, we find that it's written www.jumia.com. we have www.skygarden, www.kilimall. All those, the word Kilimall, Jumia, they actually identify the organization that holds that particular document. Now we have a suffix. The suffix is that top level identifier that identifies the organization. For example, we have .com. Mostly it means a commercial organization. .info, it's an informational site. .net, it's a network site. That we have .biz, we have .co.k, we have .org, which is non-governmental. We have also .me. We have a number of them. .mobile. All these are different types of top-level domains. Look at the Wikipedia link. That is going to help you see the different top-level domains that are out there. Now, when we talk about website, we have said that a website, it's a document. Now, this document, it's made up of different components. Now, these different components are stored in one location, and this location is what we call the project root folder. Now, the project root folder, it can contain different folders which hold different type of files. In our root folder, we are going to have what we call the HTML files. Now, these HTML files end with an extension .html. Now, we have other extensions. We can have .xhtml, we can have .htm, depending with the developer and the kind of programming language that he has used, or editor. Now, in our case, we'll be using .html as our extension for our files. Then we have another folder that we call is called the CSS folder. The CSS folder holds the customization files. Now, these customization files, they are used to define the look and feel of our site. And the look and feel of our site, we can have a number of them inside the CSS folder, and they usually end with the extension .css. Most of the time, you'll find that most are called main.css or style.css. Those are the ones that are generally used. And then we have an image folder. All our images go here. These image folders, you can have an image like a logo, a banner, or images that are used together with words or sentences, paragraphs, to actually define or explain a particular section of the content. We have the JavaScript folder. The JavaScript folder, it contains JavaScript files which end with an extension .js. These JavaScript files, they can be used to modify the content, they can be used to create animation and do many other things. We'll see in one of the next series how we can make use of JavaScript. We'll start with the simple like calculation, additions, and all that. But in our case here today, we're going to look at how we work with HTML and CSS. Now, if I want to create a website, what do I need? We need what we call HTML editors. Now, HTML editors are used to create or modify web pages. This allows us to perform a number of tasks, create these documents, and they help us in making our work easier. Now, we have a number of them. We have what we call Notepad, normally found in Microsoft Windows. We have Notepad++. We have Sublime Text 3. We have Atom, Geeks for Geeks, IDE, Visual Studio. We have IntelliJ IDE. We have a number of them. Note that Microsoft Word, yes, it's a word editor, but we cannot use it to. It's a text editor, but we cannot use it to create a HTML file. But these are the most common ones. You'll find that each of the authoring tools, each has its own power and strengths. We have like in this case we are going to use Sublime Text. With these text editors, some of them come up with the extensions that allow us to work easily with our code. For example, they have IntelliSense, meaning that when you're typing and it helps you to autocomplete your text. We have also what we call the plugins themselves, HTML, like you can have HTML or CSS plugins that allow you, when you are typing, they actually help you to define to identify what is a HTML tag and what is a CSS tag, and we'll see them as we work with our application. Now, we say that earlier, as we introduced what we're talking about, into the session, we say that we will be seeing what we call the different sections or different areas of web programming. Now, in our case, we're just going to create a simple basic web page, and this web page, it will contain a number of contents. Now, we have the HTML, which is the parent container of our site. Now, the HTML, as we say, it's a parent container. It means that all the other components that we will use to form our site, to make it interesting, to make it usable, user-friendly, they will be included or integrated with our HTML. For example, our CSS will run within our HTML pages. JavaScript will also be integrated within our HTML. Now, we will find that in some cases, a JavaScript code can be used to actually identify what CSS styling that is going to be displayed or be used in a particular section of our HTML page. Slowly we'll get there, but first of all, you're going to start with HTML. Now, let's understand what is HTML. Yes, you have said HTML since the beginning. We have talked about HTML pages and all that. Now, the term HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The term hypertext is used to identify or explain how you can connect from one document to another one. Remember, we said that a web page or a website is made up of documents. These documents are like in a normal document or a normal, let's say, a book itself. We have a page 1, page 2, page 3, and all that. Now, to move from one page to another one, you need something that will help you to move from one page to another one. Now, the hypertext concept or hypertext technology allows us to move from one page to another one, move around the internet by using what we call links. Links, they link us from one location to another one. The markup language is used to define or actually create this document. Now, we have this markup language help us define the different structure or the layout of our web page, and we are going to see things like the different elements that we are going to be calling them tags, and these tags help us define. For example, do we have a heading, do we have a row, do we have a column in a table, how can a column be made up, can we combine a column more than one column, and all that. Then you have said normally, as we have explained, HTML is used to create web pages, web documents that are hosted on the internet. Now, structure of a web page. How do we structure a page? Or if, let's say, if you are to look at any normal document, how do you get to identify this is a web page and it's not a Word document, it's not a text document, it's not a, let's say, an Excel or a spreadsheet. Now, in a normal HTML page, we have what we call a version identifier. In most cases, you are going to see it's a doc type. It identifies the version of our HTML. We have, since the formation or when internet was discovered, we have had HTML growing from HTML1 until now. We have what we call HTML5. We have this now. When we create a web page, we have an identifier identifying what version of HTML are you using. Now, this version helps the web server identify or actually decide how to interpret the page itself. We find that we have tags that you can use in HTML2, but right now in HTML5 they're not there. So, but now basically we're going to use across platform, not across let's say the tags that are, you can use them in HTML4, HTML5. They will be available for us to in all versions. So don't be afraid. Whatever you're going to use, it will be used in HTML5. It can work there. If you're using HTML4, it will work there. And you're going to see the different tags and see how to work with them. Now we have what we call the root element, which identifies the start and the end of a document. That's a HTML document. We have the header. It's a section that contains what we call metadata. This metadata is information that is available, that gives us more information on how to make use, how to tells us more information about the site. For example, the title of the document. Most of the time you're going to see it appearing at the topmost tab of your browser. You can see the author, the year or the version of that particular document, yes, under the head tag. And also you can use it to reference to other files that are outside the document. For example, we have style sheets, we have what we call JavaScript files, etc. Then we have what we call the body tag. Now, the content that the user sees in a web page, it's all of it, it's stored within the body tag. We're going to see how we write it under the body tag and how it's going to appear on our website. Now, let's talk about now this is an example of a simple website. Now we're going to create this simple website and see how it works. Now, what do you mean by the term elements? We have talked about elements and tags. And I think by now it's something that you've been wondering, what does it mean? Now, tags are used to mark up the start and of an HTML element, and they are usually enclosed in angle brackets. For example, in our case, we are going to look at H1. The H1, it's a header tag. It's actually a headline tag. This headline tag, we're going to see how it works. We have seen also seen a HTML tag. The HTML tag, we have said that it actually identifies the start and the end of the page. Now let's look at the simple site here. We are going to create a HTML site. Now remember, we said that we are going to identify the doc type. We say like mostly doc type, and then we say HTML. Now this we said that it's an identifier. Let's click here. Remember, we said that this doc type, it just identifies the version of the site, the version of the HTML. So in our case here, let's write in capital letters. Now notice that yes, you are starting to create a HTML file. It's not going to be identified as HTML because you haven't saved it yet. So you haven't saved the extension. So our the IntelliSense of in Sublime, it's not going to identify it as a HTML file. So let's go save it. File, save as. Let's save it here. Now we are going to call it as let's call it page 1. It's page 1.html. Now we have created our page as HTML1. Now if you go to the root where we have our application, notice that this is where our website will be. This is the root folder of our website that we call webinar. Now if you open it, it's in my desktop. Open webinar. Now this is a .html file. If I double click it, it's going to open here on the browser. Now notice one thing, inside our document we have nothing. Yes, it's our HTML page, but it doesn't have anything because you don't have a body tag where we are going to hold our content. So let's go back to our Sublime text and then add the different tags. So we're going to start with HTML tag. You see, I've used the IntelliSense automatically. What it has done, it has helped me create this other code. I just typed HTML, automatically it adds everything. Now how do we get to to see what's the benefit of having an IDE. An IDE with its plugins, it eases our work of coding. Like right now, instead of writing everything, automatically the IntelliSense, it has helped me. It has identified that yes, I'm creating HTML files, and these are the key things that I need. I need the header tag, I need the body tag, and I actually enclose the whole document with the ending of the closing tag of HTML. Now let's remember we said that the meta tag, the header contains a number of things. We have said meta tag. These meta tags actually help us identify, or help the actual application identify some of things. For example, the meta here character set identifies what translation is supposed to be used to identify in our page. Then we have what we call the other meta. It identifies which ports are supposed to be used. Now this actually helps when you talk of responsive design. When I am reducing the size of my screen or increasing the size of my screen or browser, automatically the content takes the width of the document. So that's why you're seeing here it's the content equals to width, the width equals to device width. So it takes the width of my device. Now let's, and the title tag, this is the information that will appear on the tab. We can have as many tabs in our browser, but to differentiate which tab is for which application, so the title tag is used to enter the title of that particular page. In this case, for example, you can say home page, and then let's save our work. So let's go to our browser. I'm using Chrome here, and refresh the page. Notice the tag here, the title here of our page, it's the home page. Let's change it again to something else. Let's call it to webinar 1 and save. Automatically it's going to, when you refresh the page, it changes to webinar 1. Now let's add some other tags. Now let's get into the body tag. So we have said that if, let's say, I had a CSS, I'll just reference it here, and then let's say, like for example, I can have my style sheet, means that it's a whole body style sheet. I'll enter here and all that. Remember we said that in the most IDEs have what we call IntelliSense. Now IntelliSense help us identify, help us to code easily and faster. So this, like what I've done, I just the bracket, the angle bracket, I've just entered the angle bracket automatically, and it shows me these are the different tags that I can use. So in this case, that I just want to show you how the IntelliSense works. Now let's work with the body tag. Inside the body tag, we'll have the content of our site. Now here, let's start with a simple thing. We are going to write the word hello world as our first word, our first content. Let's see. Let's refresh the page. Automatically it has shown as hello world. Now we have different tags for different purpose. Yeah, like you have seen here in this example, we have what we call H1 is used to display the heading of our, can be used to display the heading of our page, the heading of a particular section of our page, and all that. So let's enter something like that, H1, and then we see what it's going to show us. Let me delete that one. So let's open the H1, close the tag. I can say something like hello. So hello bin1, and then I close my tag. Automatically the IntelliSense has helped me finish the closing tag. I save, then I do refresh here. See the header tag, this is how it appears. Now let's try the different tags. The header tag is not it has a number of sizes and all that. We have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Now as the number increments, the smaller the size of the text. So let's have the different tags. Let's see H2. We call, say like this. Let's call it, say, heading section. let's have h3. This is section 1. Let's have a closing tag. Then we have h3, then h4. We say that is let's give the word that say the word article. Let's have h5. H5 we say, let's say subsection. And lastly we have our h6. H6 you say that let's say it's a content title. Now let's save and see how it appears in our browser. Now this is how it's going to appear. Now the difference is a h1 tag. So we have many tags, and you have many tags. Okay. Let me open with my browser here, so to ease our access to the document. We have made different tags, and first we have seen what we mean by HTML the header tags. Now these are different other formatting tags. Now we like to bold or create an emphasis in a particular text. We want to make the text look bold, italic. You want to create a superscript, subscript. So we are going to try these different types of tags to format our document, but not all tags that require closing. For example, we want to create a new line in a paragraph. You're going to use what you call a break, and we see that this break we don't require to close the tag. Let me create a paragraph. Let's say this is a start of web programming series. So this is our paragraph. Now this paragraph of ours we'll like to see how it appears. Now this, you can say it's a full paragraph. Now we would like to create a break between the, we will see different ways, and we will see we can put in a different paragraph. So what I'm going to do is between the word and series and I'm going to add a break tag. The break tag is supposed to break a code, meaning that this sentence actually is going to be broken into two. So it means that the start of the new line will be start after the tag break. Now note that we don't have a closing tag for this because these are self-ending tag. Okay, let's refresh our browser and see. Together it's started a new page. So let's use a different in this particular sentence we use a different we want to put an emphasis in the term web programming. So what you're going to do is web programming, you can say we want to bold the word programming. Bold in this case it requires an ending tag, so we have to make sure that we close. So we have said that the bold the bolding will start from web programming and it ends where you have our closing tag, and save. Let's refresh our page and see. Nice. So the word standing, maybe you like to say put it italic because maybe you want to say that like it's interesting, so you put italic. we save. Let's refresh. You see, it's italic. Now let's see the different the other different tags. Let's say we want to use emphasis. I'm going to use the word, just write the word emphasis here. Let's see how it's going to appear. You see, it's the same kind of as italic. Now because before that one, let me create another let's say it's on ending tag, self tag called HR. This is going to create a line, our vertical horizontal line. You see, let's add some other tags. We want to, let's say you are creating say talking about say like you want to cite someone, like you want to have a paragraph citing someone. So say let's say we want to cite, use that one. I say like the internet. So let's close our site. Let's refresh. See the word this is, it's kind of italicized. Let's do another tag, superscript and subscript. Let's say we want to say, let's have a break there. So you say that log, won't say log y, let's say log y, but we want to make sure like say we want to say log y, but y it's a subscript. So we say open the tag, sub, close, let's say y, let's close it. Let's see how it appears. See log y, it's the y it's below the line. So let's say 2 power 4. Let's see how we're going to put it 2 power 4. So we are going to use a superscript. Let's use that as a break so that you can start it.